Hello, everyone. How are you? It's Jeannie. If you are new here to my channel, welcome. You are going to see that this is just a fantastic community of wonderful people. And if you have been here before, welcome back. You are part of that amazing community, and I am very grateful for you. So I'm just going to get right to the topic of today's video because you know me, I can blah, blah, blah on for a very long time. And as you can see by the title, if it's actually what I am going to title it, Jeannie B's Most Interesting Questionnaire of All Time. I always wanted to do something profound in life, and this might be it. Anyway, this questionnaire is based on some things that I was thinking about back in early October of 2023. Now, my husband and I often play these games where we just kind of throw out a random question. If you were on a deserted aisle, what book would you have? Something like that. And, it gives us time to pause and think about some of the things that are important to us or mean a lot to us. Some of them are just random, nonsensical questions. So I started writing some of these down. And I thought some of them are kind of profound questions that are fun to ask ourselves. Now, I have to go back to that video where I did the autumn tag, and I can't remember the exact name of it, and asked if you wanted to be tagged in this video. So I'm going to go back and try to get every single person, and I'm going to add some more on. And please feel free to share this, tag others, tag me back. And but I'd love to see a video of you answering these questions. So I'm going to get started on Jeannie B's Most Interesting Questionnaire of All Time. Ever in the history of questionnaires. I'm just joking. Okay, so I've got 20 questions here, and they are divided into 4 categories, and each category has 5 questions. The first category is a little about you. The second category is assuming you're on a deserted island. The third category is about people. And the fourth category is something historical. So, I'm going to ask these questions, and I will answer them for myself. Now, sometimes I digress. So bear with me, and that's allowed in Jeannie B's Most Interesting Questionnaire of All Time. Because it's just, some of these are too complicated for a yes or a no or a black or white answer. So, here we go. Okay, from the About You category. Your favorite drink? Easy. 1 hot and 1 cold. And if a bug were to land in it, would you still drink it? Okay, my favorite drink, hot, is Earl Grey. I think you all know. And a cold drink, my favorite cold drink is probably iced tea, not sweet. And if a bug were to land in either of those, first of all, it depends on the bug. But just a gnat, buggy, little thing, I fish it out, and I finish my drink. So yes. Okay. Number 2, favorite fashion designer or brand that you would wear 5 days a week, and the cost is not an issue. So I asked this of my husband, and he said Ariat. He loves the brand Ariat. And I think for me, I would say Chanel, just because it's so fantastic, or something really, bougie and swanky. Like, I even like Jones, New York, their higher end line. It's wearable for every day. I love them, so I just gave you 2 for that. Chanel or Jones, New York. Now, something to think about. I wrote this back in October, and I haven't looked at it really since then. So I might have to think about some of these answers. Number 3, favorite dream destination, all paid, and you have to spend 6 months there. Well, I've been fortunate to have traveled a lot. There are places that I would love to spend 6 months at, and there are places that I would be done after 6 days. I'm thinking maybe, because I give a couple of options, it's the rules, you can do that. Maybe Greece or Croatia, because, Greece is just further down from Croatia. Now, because I've been following Cecilia Blomdahl, I'm thinking I might like to catch that Longyearbyen, Svalbard, northernmost city near the poles, like catch the last 3 months of winter and the first 3 months of spring, or, bump it out so you have the dark and then you come into the light and lots of light. I think that would be awesome. Somewhere in the northern pole. So, at first I thought it would be something tropical for me and something very, exotic, but that sounds like a really fun time for me. Okay, if you could have anyone do a makeover on you, who would it be? Oh my goodness, now see, I wrote this in October. I'm trying to think who I thought of back then. But as of today, Victoria Beckham. I would love to have her do my makeup and a makeover. Yes. I'd say I'd wear her fashion as well, but she's tall and thin, and her clothes seem to be for tall, thin people, I think. I'm short and curvy, so I don't think they would look good on me. So, Victoria Beckham. Okay, here's a good one. Do you dance or sing, really bust a move, or belt it out when you're alone or in the shower? And my answer is absolutely yes. And I don't even have to be alone. I could start belting out a song or breaking out in a dance, even when people are here. And sometimes I think, Jeannie, control yourself. Around people, you're such a weirdo. I can be hard on myself after the fact. So yes. Okay, now, next category of questions. You're on a deserted island. There is food and water, so you're not going to die. So, number 1, what music album or CD or cassette or whatever it is would you choose to have with you, and you have some form to play it on? This is hard. I'm deserted on a deserted island, and I get to listen to one album. I think I would make it something fun. My gosh, this is one of the hardest ones. Maybe a Led Zeppelin album, just because you get a lot of energy, like maybe their fourth album. I like Adele, maybe Adele's 21. Maybe it would be something classical, something, a Mozart concerto, his Mozart's Requiem. It's heavy, but I love it, Lacrimosa. That is one of my favorite pieces in the world, if you know it. And if you don't know it, look it up, listen to it. Okay, what flower would you choose to propagate there? Well, I love tulips, but those probably wouldn't do good on an island. So I'm going to say plumeria, because I love the smell. I love the smell of plumeria, and it's a pretty flower. So plumeria for me. What beauty product or toiletry item would you have? Okay, you can have two. Well, I would say a lotion with sunscreen in it, because vanity probably will never leave me and I don't want to wrinkle prematurely anymore. So a lotion. And then I think an eyebrow pencil, but then I'd need a mirror. A hairbrush, then. A hairbrush. Because my hair gets like... So, lotion and a hairbrush. What animal would you give a voice to so you could converse with that animal? And you get to have that animal on the island. I would say a cat, because a cat can be self-sufficient, catching things and whatnot, but I think they've got an interesting kind of quirky personality that, they can love you, but they can also be very haughty and snobbish. So a cat might keep me well entertained. Possibly a horse, but I think a cat. I'd have to take care of the horse. Okay, you get 2 books to have with you, nonfiction and fiction, and you must read them over and over. What books are they? I think my nonfiction book would be Wind, Sand, and Stars, because that is just one of the most beautifully written books that I've ever read. And as far as, that is also not, Seth Speaks is another one. So Wind, Sand, and Stars or Seth Speaks. Those are 2 that are battling it out. As far as fiction, wow, I think because of the pure entertainment value would be Watership Down. This is right off the top of my head, I tell you. Watership Down. And if you haven't read the book, read it. Not the movie, the book. Okay, people. What is your favorite quality in a person? I thought about this one before, and I would have to say my favorite quality is authentic sense of humor. Someone who just has a great sense of humor and can laugh at things, make light of things, just lighten things up. I love that about people, when they are just so joyful that it comes out of them in humor. So that would be my favorite quality. It is my favorite quality in someone. Okay, number 2, under people. You're very old and at the end of your days. What warning would you give to your 20-year-old self that you think you would actually listen to as a 20-year-old? And one that would make a real difference in your future. Wow. You know, it's easy to say, oh, I would tell my 20-year-old self that. But I think about when I was 20 and what, if I saw my future self, would I have listened to her, to me? Okay, after a lot of thought on this one, I think I know. I used to think that my identity and my value was wrapped up in someone else or somebody else's opinions of me or loving me or liking me or whatever that was. And so that brought about a lot of insecurity, but just trying to please someone else. And so the warning I would go back and give myself is, you don't need anyone else's anything of you, approval, disapproval, to be whole and complete and strong and dynamic. You can do it all on your own. Now that's more advice than a warning. And so I would say to that young girl, 20 years old, you're needing someone else's approval can lead to some suffering and hard times, which are lessons, but maybe you can avoid some of the heartache and pain. So that's what I would warn myself of. Number 3. Oh God, this is hard. I can't even believe I wrote this. Number 3, what superpower would you bestow upon certain people if you could? Wow, you have the power to give someone else a superpower. That's a huge responsibility. So, I don't know all the superpowers that exist. So, I would say, if I liked you and I wanted to bestow upon you a superpower, it would be maybe the ability to fly or teleport so you can get from point A to point B instantly. That's kind of cool and convenient. Okay, that's what I would, if I like you, you get to teleport. Okay, what superpower would you choose for yourself? Oh my goodness, I can't remember writing these. I think, and I think I've mentioned this before, way back when I started my channel, somebody asked me this in a 20 questions, so maybe it was my 20,000 subscriber mark. I think it would be time travel with limitations, because I don't want to change the past so much, although you think there are things you'd like to change. Yeah, I'd like to go back and visit certain times of my life, and I'd love to take a peek behind the veil at the future. So time travel. But you only get to teleport. Okay, number 5. If you could be anyone other than yourself for 1 year, who would it be? When did I write that? Anyone other than yourself for 1 year, who would it be? I should have thought about this before I started the camera rolling. I told you I haven't read through this. I am really stumped. I have a long list, and so I have to pick someone. You know who it would be? And she has passed away. I think it would be fun to be Julia Child. Yes, that just came to me. I saw the one who did that, not Glenn Close, Meryl Streep. I think it was Meryl Streep who starred in that. I would love to be Julia Child for a year. Okay. Now we're going into historical questions. Number 1, what one passed away non-family member person would you benefit from spending a day with? Non-family. Oh my God, Jeannie. Non-family, passed away, spend a day with. In royalty, perhaps. Queen Elizabeth. That would be fun. She's passed away. Maybe someone scientific like Madame Curie. I think that would be absolutely fascinating. So, one or the other. Number 2, what era or period in time would you want to go back in or go to and spend 6 months in? Okay, I think I'd like to go to and spend 6 months in maybe the 1920s, the Roaring Twenties. You know, the Great War was over. Lots of changes on the horizon. Fun music. You know, people are starting to have some fun before the Wall Street market crash. So I think the 20s. Yeah, I'm just going to go with that. It's 1850. You get to go back for 1 year in any profession. What profession would that be? And assume you can have the education for that. That would be medicine. That would be medicine, because I'll tell you something. My great-great-grandmother was one of the U.S.'s first few licensed female physicians. And I have some of her certificates. I have a copy of her degree from the Physiomedical College of Ohio. And they're all crossed out from the hims and his to, and handwritten her or she, because women weren't in medicine easily back then. And I'd love to know more about her. I've been on Ancestry.com, but it's still hard to find a lot of the details that I would love to find about her. And her husband, who was also a surgeon in the Civil War. So his name was Dr. Daniel Tyrrell, and he was from Ohio, and together they had a practice in New Hampshire up until I think around 1961. So anyway, that is what I would like to do is go back and become or be a doctor on the verge of a lot of great discoveries back then. All right? What historical, non-family figure would you want to bring into the here and now and show them current events for a month? Oh my goodness. think I'd like to bring Tesla back because I've been reading about him, and I'd like for him to see all the things that he had been dreaming about that had come to fruition. He was an amazing genius, and the world wasn't ready for him yet. And now look at, Marconi, supposedly the father of, the inventor of the radio, actually used 17 of Tesla's patents to create the radio. And that was, he was sued in court, and unfortunately, Tesla had died before that was resolved completely in his favor. But it was, after his death, confirmed that Marconi had used 17 of Tesla's patents to create the radio. So I think I'd like to bring Tesla back and show him, look, you done good. The world just wasn't ready for you at that time. Okay, now, final question in Jeannie B's most interesting questionnaire of all time. What historical family would you choose to be a member of, and why? Oh my goodness, what historical family? You think I would have previewed these before I started filming. I would say, I was thinking the Bronte sisters, because they were all prolific writers. That's one option. So being a part of a family of writers, but it was the girls. But it was a hard life. They still had kind of a hard life. Okay, because I just finished watching The Gilded Age, maybe a Vanderbilt or a Rockefeller or the Astor family, maybe one of them, to be in such opulence and privilege and wealth that you could just have, the world is your oyster and you can do anything you want. So maybe a family like the Vanderbilts, Rockefellers, Astors, yeah, that would be fun. So there you have it, Jeannie B's most interesting questionnaire of all time. Or not. Well, I hope when you decide to, if you decide to answer these questions, that you give it some thought before you start filming, because these are stumpers, I think. But I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what other people answer, how they answer. And so I'd love it if you would pass it on and tag someone whose answers you would want to hear. So thank you for indulging me in this fun video, and I hope you can do some deep thinking about some of these questions, and I can't wait to see your answers. So I'm at a different wall in my studio. It's slightly cleaned up here. The rest is a disaster, but that's another video. I wish you well. I wish you peace. I wish you very deep thought and enlightenment. Enlightenment is a good thing to experience once in a while. So enjoy this, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Goodbye for now.